Hi, my name is Drew. I'm an NFL free agent, aspiring long snapper, aspiring professional athlete. Born here in San Diego, California, where I currently reside.
Oh, when did you first start getting into snapping?
My sophomore year of high school. Nobody wanted to do it on the team when we needed somebody, so I volunteered to do it, and that's essentially how I got it. You know, doing something that no one else wanted to do. I had a background in boxing. I did boxing for starting on 9th grade or 8th, 9th grade, training. So my hands were pretty quick, and I think that's what was allowed me to be pretty good at it at first, is having quick hands. I mean, my parents have believed in me and supported me. I've had some family that were kind of like, get a job, you know. But I had a belief in myself ultimately. I felt like I was talented enough, and I always told myself, if I'm focused, I can do it, you know. So if I'm focused and I'm, you know, full in, then I can do it. I've been sent home from so many other workouts, I've been cut, it's time for me to move on with my life easily. I mean, some guys do that, but I took it as, okay, I'm gonna move forward from this, and I'm gonna give this next year a chance, you know. And it's really letting go of your past and letting go of the negative thing that's happened. If you felt cheated, or if you felt betrayed or ganged up on, or just you felt like you failed, putting that, literally having that feeling of letting that go, so you can then give everything to the future, and not just physically, but your mental will of giving your future a chance. You know, I think that's one of the biggest things as a athlete that athletes need to do is, you know, you're going to get rejected, but you just have to let that go and allow yourself to move forward. And that's the thing, as an athlete, you have to remind yourself that you are competent, you are capable, you are willing, and you are good enough. Because if you don't have that belief in yourself, as corny as that sounds, or if you don't believe you can do it, then you won't. You know what I mean?
What would you say that feeling is that you have when you're snapping? So maybe there's just all this pressure, and then when you get out there on the field and lining up for the snap, what would you say that feels like?
I would say I love it, because, you know, we talked about this earlier. Nothing else really matters or tends to exist outside that bubble that I'm in right there. You know, when I'm out there, it's I forget who my friends are. I don't forget. I just don't focus on it. It's just you're so in the moment. You're never more in the moment than when you're playing professional sports. I can't begin to even describe that feeling, how great it is, that you're just so, nothing else matters. The sidelines doesn't matter. You're on the field. You know, you're in unison with your teammates, and it's awesome, man. It's an awesome escape, you know. At first it was very surreal, because I grew up watching the NFL and grew up watching games all day Sunday as a kid and going to games and stuff like that. And then you're finally out there. It's you've been looking at this from the, you know, that point of view from the stands, and now you got the, you know, first point of view. You're in it. You know, and it's a very weird feeling. It's an awesome feeling, but it's man, I was watching for years. I mean, I'm talking since I was 6 or 8 years old, 20 years, 18, 20 years, viewing it from the TV or the stands, and then now you're in it. And
you're kind of is this real? Am I actually here?
Exactly, reality check. And then as the game goes on, and as the, you know, I played in 4 preseason games, so the first game was a little bit of a shock, and then as the games go on, you get more used to it. But it's an awesome experience, man. It's an awesome feeling, and you just lock in and you just go to work. So what I do a lot of heart rate variability training. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of that. There's an app called Heart Math, or Inner Balance app, that it's a Bluetooth thing that connects to your ear. It's measures your pulse, but you train your heart rate so when you're in a state of coherence. So coherence means that you're controlling your heart rate. So when your adrenaline's pumping and your heart rate's beating really fast, and maybe you get sweaty palms and you shake a little bit. Well, the whole point of heart rate variability training is to not get like that. Is you control that heart rate so you're not getting the physiological symptoms of sweaty palms and shakiness or whatnot. As an athlete, I've been doing that a lot. I highly recommend anybody who wants to perform in, not even just athletes, well, performers and artists and stuff like that, and people who are public speakers and all that stuff. It's really good to do, and it's helped me a lot, and you're able just to focus and calm yourself and perform, you know? Say that, you know, I want to be remembered for more than just football, but it's really just being remembered for starting so far away from the end goal, but getting there, you know? And because when I first started, I was quite far away, and a lot of people, the people that watch this for the first time, they're gonna look at me and they'll have no idea my backstory in terms of like how long it took me to get to where I'm at, and I'm, you know, continuing to go forward. But a lot of people think that people that are really successful just fell there. You know, they think that they just got there and that, oh, you know, he was born with that, or he didn't have to do anything difficult for it, he or she or whatever. But I want people to know, like, I really did a lot of grunt work, and I really, like, you know, grinded it out, essentially.
The person, like, when you set these huge goals, you become like a different person and like pursuing those in a way.
Yeah, you definitely become a different person when pursuing your goals. I definitely want to be known for that. Yeah, like the journey and the process of like becoming a different person and a better person. Definitely, you know. I want to be remembered for that. You know, my legacy ultimately, just to be remembered for somebody who like worked really hard for what they got. You know.
What advice would you give someone who's watching this who maybe has like this thing in their life that they're passionate about, you know, and they want to make that next step to like maybe transition to full-time of whatever that may be? What would you say to them, like some takeaways to kind of start chasing that?
I would say the best advice I could give for that person would be to, it's not only what you do on the field or in the gym. So if you're an athlete, like a swimmer, it's not just what you do in the pool. It's what you do for the other 22 hours or 20 hours of the day when you're not in the pool. Your sleep, your diet, your hydration, your recovery. You know, a lot of people, they just think that, if I just work hard in the gym or work hard on the field, which is important, that I'll get there. And then they do it for years, days, months, weeks, years, and they're like, I haven't gotten to where I want to get. I'm like, well, what are you doing on Friday night? What are you doing on Saturday night? You know, are you sleeping enough? What's your routine like? How are you managing your time? So I would say my best advice would be to make sure what you're doing outside of your craft is in alignment with what you want from your craft. Disciplines, like if you're not disciplined in one aspect of your life, you're not going to be disciplined in another aspect and all your other aspects. So if you're not disciplined in your work life, you won't be disciplined in your training, and you're not going to be disciplined at home. So it's basically practicing your disciplines, and it'll carry over to other facets of your life. Do I have a role model? Yeah, I have a few. One of the guys who's like really been influential in my life, Steve. Met him about 3 or 4 years ago. Big role model in my life. So last year, I'm not gonna name names, but basically I was hanging around people outside the gym that were doing things that weren't really in line with what I wanted in my life, you know? So whether that was me, you know, ultimately like skipping a meal or like staying out too late or doing activities that, not illegal things, but just doing things that weren't in line with what I wanted, and ultimately it reflected in my performance and didn't allow me to get to where I wanted to be that year. So it was almost like what I learned from that year, I could get pissed off and make all these excuses, but I looked at it and said what I learned from that year was, okay, I need to change my circle up a little bit, and I need to not arrange my life in that way, you know, and it helped for sure. But yeah, you got to hang around the right people, you know, you have to. So yeah, that goes along with what you're doing outside the gym, or you hang with the right people. Thanks for having me, and anytime. And I love sharing my story, and